Thus, 5 women that joined with me here today, sitting right behind me. Claudio Duran, Lupita Perales from Michigan, Alma Young, Anai Santiago, and Diana Hernandez from Georgia. Some of them started working in agriculture as young as 5 years old. Collectively, the 5 women behind me and their immediate family members have more than 220 years in agriculture. Their families make it possible for Americans to have food on their tables, and that's why we're here today, because their families have earned a path to legalization. Lack of legal status, the isolated nature of agricultural work, and a shameful history of excluding the industry from basic labor laws makes farm workers vulnerable to a range of abuses. The H-2A program is the visa category linked to the highest number of documented human trafficking cases that occurred in every state represented in this committee, with Georgia, California, North Carolina, Louisiana, and Texas among the top 5. Farm workers who feed us have earned the right to live and work without fear, to be treated with respect, and to hold their children, spouses, or parents again, to visit loved ones when they are ill, and attend funerals when they depart. To achieve a farm worker legalization, we have made lots of compromises. Together with employers, we have struck 3 major different bipartisan deals. In 2006 and again in 2013, bills to legalize our farm workforce and reform the H-2A program were integrated into broader immigration bills that passed this chamber with overwhelming support. In 2019, during a dramatically different political environment, we spent 7 months in negotiations with ag employers, Democrats, and Republicans. We made serious concessions again in what is now the Farm Workforce Modernization Act, a bill that has passed the House twice now, with more than 30 Republicans supporting that bill. Some of these changes have been painful. The bill creates an earned, lengthy, and optional path for farm workers to seek permanent legal status, putting farm workers on a long path to permanent protections, excluding them from access to social safety net programs, and imposing a steep fine for their essential work is not the best way to honor the people who have been breaking their bodies and putting their lives at risk to feed the nation. But we agreed to these compromises. We also agreed to provide employers with a 1-year freeze on wages, an annual cap on wage fluctuations, and access to the H-2A program for year-round employers. These concessions, along with a number of changes to streamline the H-2A program, give H-2A employers the ability to predict cost over the long term, and will conservatively provide ag employers with more than $2.8 billion in economic benefits over the next 10 years. It also includes E-Verify. The time is now. We have a House of Representatives that has passed this bill twice, a chair of the Judiciary Committee who is committed to farm worker legalization. We have a president that is ready to sign it, and now we need the Senate to use every tool at its disposal to honor the people that we rely on to feed our nation and bring stability to the ag industry. Thank you very much.
Arturo Rodriguez, former president of United Farm Workers of America, before the Senate Judiciary Committee.
Yes, Mr. Myers?
I'd like to start by thanking Chairman Durbin and Ranking Member Grass and the rest of the distinguished Judiciary Committee for the opportunity to share my experience and speak on an issue that's very near and dear to my heart. This bill isn't about labor shortages and people skipping ahead of the line. It's about the American dream, the American voter, and the viability of an America that allows the dreamers to dream and the voters to create the change that they dream of. I grew up in a very special place called Mesa, Oregon. It has a population of just 3,000 people, about 50% white and 50% Latino. Those Latino folks were almost exclusively from Mexico and arrived in our area, at least originally arrived, as migrant field workers. When I was in school and my friend's name was Martha or Mario, out of an unspoken cultural love and respect, we called them Marta or Mario With two different cultures together, we ate each other's food, tried to speak each other's native language, and most importantly, we worked side by side in fields and on the farms. Admittedly, some of us only did this work for extra spending cash, while others did it out of necessity to help pay rent and keep the lights on. Regardless of the reason, we understood each other better because of it. That's why today, as a friend and as a farmer, I'm here to add my voice to that of Latino farm workers. These farm workers come to the United States from Mexico for the same reason that my great-grandparents came from Germany, and for the same reason that yours might have come from Ireland, Scotland, Poland, Cuba, Holland, Britain, Russia, Japan, or China. They all come to create a better future for themselves, and especially a better future for their children. Let's be honest with ourselves. The last 36 years of policies and political failures have led us here. Now is the time to act. It's not ethical, it's not economically viable, and it's not safe to kick this can down the road yet again. It's not ethical because for the last 2.5 decades, we allowed people to cross our southern border, and the system allowed them to be employed in the United States. If you found yourself in a position where you're unable to clothe and feed your family, can you honestly answer that you would not do the same? It's also not ethical for Congress to fail to act again. It's not economically viable because America's farms, ranches, and dairies cannot operate their businesses without sufficient labor. This year on our asparagus farm, we lost 100% of the season's profits because we were unable to get domestic workers when our 36 H-2A workers were delayed at the border for 90 days beyond their date of need. 90 days after we needed them. We lost nearly 300,000 pounds of asparagus. I had to go online and give it all away to any food pantry or family that was willing to come and harvest it. It's not safe because if we can't get workers here, we can't harvest the crops. If we can't harvest the crops, we can't feed you. Sure, we could switch to mechanized low-labor crops like corn, soy, barley, and wheat, but it's not the best use of our nation's water, soil, and other resources. Besides, do we really need 10 million more acres of corn? America needs to grow and produce what's essential to her survival, and fruits and vegetables, not just corn and soy, are basic necessities for a healthy society and economy. If you want to see the